Hello, everybody, parents and Illing student athletes. This is Mr. Bevan. In case you didn't know, I'm the athletic director at Illing Middle School, have been for the last 6 years. And normally at this time of the year, I'm frantically preparing for our athletic night that we host either in our gym or in the cafeteria or over at the high school. We've done that in the past as well. And unfortunately, the way things took place here with the coronavirus, that we were not able to have our spring season, and of course, unfortunately, not able to have our end of the year athletic night, which usually is composed of all the coaches coming to kind of share their seasons and recognize their student athletes, and also recognize a very, very vital part of their lives as student athletes, their parents. So athletes, if you see this video, take the time to thank your parents for the rides, for the going out and getting your medical forms taken care of, because I know that's quite a chore as well. I sent is a way of celebrating our athletes. I've prepared a slideshow with as many photographs as I could get my hands on from our very successful fall and winter seasons. The fall season was highlighted with our boys and girls soccer teams. The boys coached by Mr. Miles Hurley, and the girls coached by Miss Tia Solinsky Jones and Mr. Patrick Biggins. Both teams enjoyed a great season. Watching the girls' practices or the boys' practices, but I really the wins are nice to enjoy as a fan or as an athletic director, but just the idea of a team being together. That was quite evident in the practices and games that I went to during the season. A highlight of the fall season for soccer was the boys going to the finals of the our CROW conference championship game, which I was there in that rain and enjoyed every second of it. The end result wasn't what we wanted, but our boys, as they did all season, played their hearts out. As well as our girls throughout the season. I want to thank the coaches. All first-year soccer coaches took this responsibility on, which is a big task. Middle school is not easy. It's challenging. It's fun, though. I coached middle school for close to 25 years. So our fall season also was highlighted by another new coach. Our cross-country team was taken over by Mrs. Amy Dugan, her first year at Illing Middle School, and taking the challenges of being new at a school. She took on the cross-country team and did an amazing job. Having a long history of running and just being involved, Amy did a great job along with Mrs. Kappa in coaching both the girls and boys cross-country teams. The highlight of their season was the CROW meet that we got to host down at Charter Oak, and that's really a sight to see when you see about 80 runners going off in one shot. So again, thank you to my fall coaches for all you did. All my first-year fall coaches, thank you. And parents, if you get a chance to reach out to those coaches or players, you see them around town during the time. I know as a coach, the best gift I could get from a team at the end of the season was just that thanks, coach, from my players. So moving on from there to our winter season, a lot of highlights there. We have our girls and boys basketball teams and our wrestling team. Both our boys and girls basketball teams were successful this year. Our boys team, who were CROW champions last year, fell a little short. Both our teams were successful in being champions of the BWIT, which is the Buzz Wooldridge Invitational. That's our big highlight event for the basketball teams in the winter. I want to personally thank my basketball coaches, first with the girls, Mr. Brian McCarthy, who, as usual, has been a consistent performer as a coach, connects well with our kids, as does his co-coach, Mr. James Coughlin, who I had as a student. But they both work well together. Co-coaching sometimes is not an easy thing, but they make it work make it look very easy. They do a great job with the girls. There's a lot of camaraderie and spirit that goes on in practices, and it spills over into the games, and that marks the success of the girls program. Our boys team was coached this year by Mr. Brandon Waterman and Mr. Tylon Smith Jr., who holds a very special place for me. He played basketball for me at Bennett as a young sixth grader a few years ago, let's say. The boys team, again, competitive as always. I want to, again, give a lot of credit to Mr. Waterman and Coach Smith for bringing these boys together as a team during their season. Unfortunately, they fell short again in the Corral tournament, as did our girls. But again, we consistently are there, always in the hunt, both the boys and girls basketball teams. So congratulations to them. And last but not least, our winter sports program was highlighted by our wrestling team, coached by Mr. Matt Montgomery and assisted by Mr. Justin Patton. So they carry the last names of two very famous World War II generals, and commanded or coached our wrestling squad. Again, bringing together young boys and girls on a wrestling team, because it's a lot of individualness goes on in wrestling, but they came together as a team, had a very successful season. The most unfortunate thing with wrestling, sometimes it's I'd like to get more matches for them, because we are very competitive, and it's kind of been a secret for a couple of years about Manchester having a successful middle school wrestling team. But Mr. Montgomery and Mr. Patton have made sure that other teams are aware. So I hope you take some time to enjoy the slideshow and see your kids involved in their sports. I want to congratulate them on their efforts this year. And again, I feel badly for our spring sports. That would have been baseball and softball and track. Unfortunately, they did not get to where we had a season. But again, congratulations to all our student athletes. Thank you to all the parents for your support for your kids, for their and parents supporting each other at the games. I saw that a lot at the soccer, basketball games. That's probably the best reward as athletic director, to get to be part of the end results of the practices that come together, and you see that work play out in games and matches. As an athletic director, that really excites me. As a sports fan, it really excites me. So again, congratulations to all my student athletes. Thank you to all my coaches and parents for all you do. Thank you, and enjoy the slideshow.